Hi, thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to take a look at India funds, key investor contacts, and fundraising targets. This database provides direct insight into 2022 to 2024 Indian funds and fund managers that are actively raising or deploying capital, giving deal makers a clear path to the right investors at the right time. To be clear, this is the who's who of India capital and fundraising. The ultimate institutional database, and introducing a rare database of institutional grade investors sourced from my exclusive database of over 400,000 global capital professionals. And for the first time ever, this powerful resource is available to help you access capital like never before. So India Fund Investor Database components. So this database contains 480 funds and fund managers, 6,200 key investment contacts at those groups, 4,300 emails, and this includes funds that were raised in 2022 to 2024. You're going to see the spreadsheet coming up in a bit, and you're also going to see justification of why this is a great database if you're looking to raise funds in India. So first, some key database fields that you're going to see in the spreadsheets. You're going to see contact names, titles, investor type, location, geographic preference, website, email, sector specialization, investment strategy, and fund descriptions. Total fund strategies that are part of the database, where you're going to see venture capital, that could be seed, startup, early stage, growth, late stage. You're going to see buyout, private equity. You're going to see real estate, that could be core, value add, opportunistic, distressed debt. Infrastructure, you're going to see core, value add, opportunistic, and debt. Number 5, direct lending and private credit, that could be senior debt, mezzanine, or distressed. 6, special situations. 7, secondaries, that could be direct and fund. 8, fund of funds and co-investment. Number 9, natural resources and energy. And finishing off with number 10, hybrid or multi-strategy funds. So why this database matters? As I mentioned earlier, this is the who's who of India capital and fundraising. It's a very rare and exclusive database of the most hard to access contacts in the Indian fundraising ecosystem. Now, if you've tried to purchase databases in the past for smaller niche markets like India, the Middle East, some parts of Asia, you generally have to subscribe to a much larger database package from some of the large providers, which could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. So the benefit to my database is I already have this large database as a resource, and I can easily segment smaller lists for some of the more frontier countries, as well as individual sectors, and so on and so on. So this resource provides direct access to the professionals and funds that control billions of capital across private equity and venture capital. Now, this has 480 leading funds, 6,200 key fundraising professionals, and again, this is just for the Indian database. So you have access to billions of capital, direct pathways to private equity and VC funding in the region. Exclusive and hard to access. It's a one-of-a-kind database built for serious fundraising efforts, and it's perfect for those seeking to raise capital in India across real estate, startups, and private equity deals. So why target funds raised from 2022 to 2024? Well, there's a reason for that. Number 1, the development cycle. Most private equity and venture capital funds begin deploying capital 6 to 12 months post-close, meaning funds raised in 2022 to 2023 are actively investing in 2024 to 2026. So as we sit here in the middle of 2025, it's perfect timing. Dry powder availability. With typical 10-year funds, a 4 to 5 year investment period, capital will remain available until 2027 and beyond for most of the funds in my database. Active window, again, 2025 to 2028, prime time for outreach, as most of these funds are still allocating to new deals. Regional nuance could affect it. For example, Middle East funds, especially family offices and sovereign-linked investors, often operate on more flexible timelines compared to the traditional Western GP/LP structures. So this makes the 2022 cohort of funds the strongest targets for founders and groups seeking capital today. So let's take a look at the database. Just first, a quick database disclosure. My extensive database library provides hundreds of thousands of global contacts, typically including profiles, emails, and websites, though not all details are complete. Now, it's primarily compiled and updated from 2021 to 2025, but most of the updates have happened in the last 2 years. Now, this corporate resource may include contacts whose roles have changed. It's designed as an excellent starting point for outreach It's best leveraged and continually refined by organizations with dedicated data teams. You do not use this database to spam contacts. This is for research to refine. If you have an opportunity, you can drill right down into the country, the sector, the vertical, whatever it is, so that really it's an ultimate source for you, and you don't have to do all the other research needed to get it to the form I have it in. So this database comprises a blend of individuals and companies, each with distinct investment criteria and operating conditions. So there's no guarantee your approach will be favorably received. Note, this database is available to corporate or institutional grade groups only, no personal sales. Okay, before we look at the smaller segment list, let's take a look at where all the database searches start. So this is the master database. You can see here on the bottom left-hand side, we're at 99,214 entries. So these are all funds. They're historical, so they could go back all the way from to 2007. But the concentration that I use when I'm actually supplying databases is concentrating on 2022 to 2024. But this just gives you an idea of where they come from. So you can see the name of the fund, the background of the fund, when the inception date, asset class, the strategy. It could be venture capital, early stage. It could be real estate. It could be growth, depending on what the fund profile is, the region of fund status, whether it's open, closed, raising, fund size in millions, the fund manager, of course. And then as we scroll over to the right, you're going to get information about fund structure, core industry, industry verticals, and so on and so on. Date was added, some legal structure, and then of course information about where the fund is located. Now, in this particular part of the database, you're going to get emails, but they're going to be contact at, info at, that sort of thing. When we get over to the other part of the database, you're going to see the individual emails of the person. So now let's go to the contacts. So we started off with 99,000 funds. We've got 412,000 individual contacts. Now again, this is the master database. And if we go back up to the top, you're going to see fund manager, fund type. You're going to see the name, contact details, their title, asset class. You're going to get information on the emails. Obviously city and country, territory, that sort of thing. So that's the master database. Now let's go take a look at the smaller database where we're doing this particular search. Okay, now we're over on the India database screen. So you saw we started off with the master database, and now I've selected only 2022, 2023, and 2024 funds. And you can see on the bottom here we've got 482 funds. And if we were to go right back up to the top, you can see here we've got the name, we've got the background. For example, this one here, Venture Soul Capital Fund, is a venture debt fund, and the fund targets fintech, B2B, B2C, and SAS sectors across India. So you're going to get a description. So if you have a particular sector you're looking at, great, you can drill down. You may start off with 480 and you may end up with 50 or 60 that are absolutely perfect contacts. They're deploying capital and they're probably ready to receive your pitch deck and your information. So you see here we've got the inception date, asset class, the strategy, primary and the status, again raising, very much like the master, it's the same. And we go over to the right hand side, you're going to see a little bit more information about the fund, and most of all you're going to be able to make contact via their website. Now, let's go to the contacts. So if we go to the contacts now out of the India database, you can see here we've got about 6,270. Again, these are also not only funds, but they're venture capital, private equity firms. So additional contact points for you. If you're raising capital, you can see you've got the fund manager, the firm type. You've got the name of the person to contact. These are all going to be senior parties for the most part. In the India database, you've got 6,200 contacts, 4,300 emails. So what do you do if you don't have an email? Really simple. Just take their name, copy it, and paste it into LinkedIn, and 99% of the time, these particular parties are going to have a LinkedIn account, and you're going to be able to make contact with them there. So this is the perfect database if you're looking to raise capital in India in 2025 and beyond. For more information, contact DubaiInvestorsList.com. That's DubaiInvestorsList.com. Please like, share, and subscribe.